welcome to Fantasy Legends. My name's Scott, and today we'll be taking a deep dive look into the religion of Yevon from Final Fantasy X. Please remember to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps out in the YouTube algorithm. There are 9 temples of Yevon, however, only 5 are open to the public. 3 are considered lost temples, and the last one is the Zanarkand one, which is used to summon the final Aeon. The 5 official temples are Bevel, Besaid, Kilika, Doge, and Lake Macalania. They are the home of the faiths of Alfor, Ifrit, Ixion, Shiva, and Bahamut. And these are the ones that are considered the official temples, where people go on their pilgrimage. And then you have the 3 lost temples, which are probably a bit more interesting for most people than the 5 official ones. You have Badge, Remnium, and the Cavern of the Lost Faith. Badge Island was attacked by Sin recently in the game and was left in ruins. Since Anima's faith was only created recently, it may have been not the temple's original faith. There may have been another one, however we do not find out about this in the game. The Cavern of the Lost Faith is actually home of Yojimbo. Centuries earlier, the Yojimbo faith was stolen from an unknown temple and taken to the cave to impede summoners' journeys. When summoners journey to defeat Sin, they arrive at the final temple located at the city of the end of the world. We do not know lots about the last one, the Magnus Sisters location, as it was lost when the High Summoner Gandalf's battle with Sin happened there. And the last one is Zanarkand. At the Zanarkand Dome, the summoner can summon the final Aeon. This varies from summoner to summoner as they are created at that time. Now we have looked at the temples, now let's look at the hierarchy and the administration that goes through this Yevon faith. Yevon has a hold on all of the areas of Spira. However, it does not officially hold worldly authority, as governmental duties are divvied up in regional self-rule. However, leaders of each area are backed by the temples. Yevon is funded by donations received from Yevonites. The temples aid the populace by using their finances in various ways, such as operating crossing services at the Moonflow, operating places of worships for Yevonites, and training the summoners themselves in order to beat Sin. Control is carried out by 4 Maesters in the Yevon faith. They are called the 4 Maesters of Yevon. At the top of the hierarchy is actually the Grand Master, Yo Micah. He has held this position for 50 years. Below the Grand Maester are 3 positions referred to as by the title Maester, which are the other 3 Maesters of Yevon. This actually mirrors the real-world cardinals in the Catholicism faith. One normally addresses the Maesters as Your Grace, a title reserved for bishops, instead of Your Eminence, as is custom with cardinals, however. So the 3 Maesters' responsibilities are split up. One of them deals with the ministries of civil affairs, the other does the military affairs, and the third, it all deals with all the temple matters. And these duties include making laws, presiding over Yevon's courts. In the game of Final Fantasy X, the current Minister of Civil Affairs is Kelk Ronso. He is in charge of the judiciary, the treasury, and general civil administrations of all of Spira. The current Minister of Military Affairs is Wen Kinnock, who is in charge of general military command and doubles as the head of the warrior monks, and oversees the crusades as well. The actual Minister of Temple Affairs is the fan favourite Seymour Guardo, who maintains the temples, rituals, teachings, and oversees the summoners themselves. He has authority to handle records and the sealed histories. Below these 3 Maesters are the High Priests, representing each temple across the world, but they have no voice in the temple's inner circle and have no control over the respective temples. In the exception of the rule is Maester Seymour, concurrently holding the post of the High Priest of Macalania Temple and is the current Minister of Temple Affairs. The next step down are the priests of Yevon, whose job it is to attend to the temples throughout the land. Many priests are summoners or former summoners. Priests tend to wear multicoloured vestments of white, green and orange. Interestingly enough, even though they hold a very important position in the church, below the priests are actually the summoners, a position similar to a cross between priest and a maiko. Summoners are charged and with the great responsibility of the journey to Zanarkand, obtain the final Aeon and destroy sin. Summoners do have other responsibilities, however. They also perform sendings, a ritual that guides the souls of the dead to the peace of the far plane. The title of High Summoner refers to summoners who have actually defeated sin. At the bottom levels of the church's hierarchy, below the summoners, are the acolytes. They are similar to nuns in a way. They work through Spira, performing various duties. Officials of Yevon wear band downs in their front of their robes with 6 glyphs. Interestingly enough, the Yevon faith outside of this hierarchy has 3 military arms. The first being the warrior monks, whose service it is to protect the Maesters of the temples, seen as the primarily in the city of Bavel in the game. The official Yevon line for these monks is that those that do not oppose Yevon will not be harmed, but really, in truth, they really do crack down on heretics and look for people that go against Yevon's faith. The second is actually the Guardians. They are the summoners' bodyguards who help them through their pilgrimage. Although they're not directly linked to Yevon, they have some official capacity in the church in terms that they can actually go into the chambers of faith, for example. And thirdly, we have the Crusades. Formerly known as the Crimson Blades, the Crusaders are a loosely knit army that protects towns and temples from sin. Unlike the Guardians, the Crusades are directly related to the temple under their employment. As for prayer, a Yevonite would start with his hands out at either side before bringing them to their chest, as though holding a sphere and bowing. This evolved from the Blitzball ritual for victory. In the game, we get to see more and more as the game goes on that the Yevon faith is in fact corrupted. This comes paramountly when we see Yomaika reveal his status as an unsent. This really shows that the church itself has come corrupt in its core, even though the ideals of the actual faith may have been genuine at one time. Now it's just a shell of its former self, where the leaders are just greedy for power. I think that this was a great way for the developers to show how corrupt a religion could become if used in the wrong manner. We do finally get to see the ending of this corrupt organisation when Yuna and her Guardians enter Sin on their airship and kill Yevon at its core, ending the summoning of the Dream Zanarkand. The faith he had been using for his summoning, as well as the faith in the temples, are released, and their souls are departed for the far plane. With no more faith left in Spira, the summoners are unable to call forth Aeons anymore, and the Maesters of Yevon are now dead, and the temple's hypocrisy revealed to all of Spira, and this led to the downfall of Yevon itself, and it was disbanded. So what did you guys think of the Yevon faith? It was probably the most detailed that we get in the Final Fantasy series, in terms of looking at the religion and how corrupt it could be. Please let me know in the comments down below what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help. Thank you for listening.